It's very difficult to try to understand how any one parent could do this, but right now we're following two cases in the state line where parents have left their kids in cars that are off, that have no heat. The Winnebago County Sheriff's Department says they think it's more than one person going around doing the robberies because the things they're stealing are rather heavy. What we can tell you is that a young man in his 20s was shot dead here at the Shell gas station on North State and East Harrison on the city's north side. Now there's a line that goes along Front Street here in Byron. That's the city's main line. No, that's not where the problem is. The problem are the lateral lines that feed to the main line here along Market Street. Now probably the biggest thing you'll notice is here along the west side of the terminal. They're going to build onto the structure and extend it outward to where there's actually a parking lot right now. Breweries like Pig Mines already have a line of beers that they sell, so they're not going to be as affected by the shutdown as up-and-comers are, like a company that brews this beer. You can't see who they are because they don't have a label. They don't have a label because the TTB is behind because of the shutdown. Instructors say this kind of training has evolved over time to the point where they now shoot blanks off in the hallways to simulate the sound of real gunfire. The city of Rockford says these memorials are only taken down when neighbors or people in the neighborhood complain about them, and that there are tons of them all over the city, but there's no ordinance or any law specifically protecting them from being taken down. In streets riddled by gangs and violence, it's no surprise people would want to protect themselves.
You know, there's a real gun in the holster.
However, Lieutenant Pat Hoy says some kids might be going about it the wrong way.
It's just dangerous for kids to be carrying these, or anybody to be carrying them on the street. It's just, you're just asking for trouble. Here, they broke the tip off.
Rockford police say some teenagers are carrying airsoft pistols similar to these in some of our city's roughest neighborhoods. And considering how realistic the guns look, officers say it's just not smart to do.
There's no way from a distance that a police officer is going to be able to discern a real gun from a fake gun.
No, kids should not be walking around with a gun at all. It's a threat, plain and simple. Same with the cops. They see anyone with a gun, it's a gun. It looks real. They don't know the difference.
The airsoft industry is growing in Rockford. Brian Edmonds works at Rockford Tactical, which just opened this year.
Make sure that you're safe with these. It's the most important thing.
He stresses safety and common sense when selling the fake weapons and hopes people who are misusing these replicas don't ruin things for responsible owners.
If you take it out in public, case it, treat it like a real firearm, and declare it. Anytime you get pulled over, hey, I got these.
Don't be toting these around town. Just gives the good, responsible airsoft gun owners a bad name.
Rockford police say it is legal for anyone to carry an airsoft gun in public, but if you are stopped by the police, it's best to follow directions and let them know you have one on you, because they will treat it like a real gun if they find it, which could lead to some serious problems.
Welcome back. When a terminally ill patient is placed on hospice, it typically means the end of the line, but not for one State Line race car driver.
23 News reporter Jorge Rodas shows us how Tom Schneider is looking to finish the final race of his life ahead of the pack in more ways than one.
We are figure eight racing!
Life has been one long race for Tom Schneider, and while most of the time he's driven solo, he's running his final laps as a newlywed.
Yeah, I thought she was loud and obnoxious. It's great to have a woman stand by me like she does.
Thomas, you might kiss the bride.
Tom married the love of his life, Christine, at home while on hospice. That's because doctors said chemotherapy wouldn't help him anymore. He was diagnosed with advanced colon cancer last summer, a disease he knows he will not survive.
I will cherish every moment that I've had with him and that I will continue to have until I lose him.
For the championship is close!
Tom's used to living by the seat of his pants.
If I win a race this year,
Today, we find him sitting on the couch surrounded by family and friends, like longtime track rival DJ Smith, who says Tom has taught him a lot.
someone gets in an incident on the track and I'm practicing night, this guy's sitting in the stands, he's jumping over the fence to go see if they're all right. And that's with everybody. He's one heck of a guy.
Tom Schneider, another figure eight championship.
Tom is a 6-time figure 8 champion at the Rockford Speedway. It's a legacy his son Nick hopes to carry on.
I'm just hoping to make my dad proud. I just feel like me and him have so much in common. We think alike, we do almost everything the same.
My dad's had numerous different nicknames. To me, my dad's always been my hero. That's my name.
For your dad?
For my dad.
The greatest struggle is perhaps not knowing how much time he has left.
Forward.
But it's clear Tom wants to finish strong.
Just trying to finish.
Trying to finish the big race, essentially.
Yeah.
Tom has 2 last wishes. One, for the Speedway to add him to their Walk of Fame. The Speedway says they're considering that, but there's no guarantee a decision will be made soon. The last wish, to be driven around the figure 8 track one last time. Chris Weese's battle is far from the front lines. Instead, every day appears to be a mental fight, one he hopes could end thanks to a new friendship.
I almost still can't believe this actually happened, honestly. And this is going to be a big change in my life.
Weese is an Army veteran who served 2 tours of duty in Iraq. Since returning home, he's suffered from PTSD and says he's not the man he used to be.
First time I came back overseas, I didn't want to get out my house.
Weese struggles with severe anxiety and finds it almost unbearable to do things most of us take for granted. Last year, he met a fellow veteran who promised to get his life back on track, a Marine named Chris Marone, who also struggles with PTSD.
Seeing him, kind of saw myself and where he is now. You know, I used to be at that point with my PTSD, and you know, have come a long way, and I've come a long way because of, you know, Diesel and because, you know, service dog.
I haven't picked up a Tango yet.
When the 2 met, the Army vet's PTSD was kicking in, and the Marine did the only thing he knew to do.
And I, you know, grabbed Diesel's leash and, you know, handed it over to him.
I saw the change, and even she saw the change of me just for that one day. I haven't felt that for a long time, honestly.
These are our puppies here that we're going to be hopefully pairing up with our veterans.
That encounter convinced Chris Marone to create Military Amigos, a group that gives service dogs to veterans with PTSD.
Now, Chris says it usually costs a vet $30,000 to get a service dog, but Chris is giving them one for free, and he's taking care of all the training.
Any veteran who has PTSD deserves his chance, you know, deserves to have that normalcy and feel like they're a normal human being.
It's amazing. Can't really describe it. Being able to change somebody's life like that. I knew we were going to help him from the first time we met him in Chicago. So as soon as I saw how he reacted to Diesel, I looked at him, I said, they got to be the first ones.
Weese now has a new buddy, and although it'll be many months before little Kilo will be a certified service dog, Chris says the animal is more than just a pet. He's a friend.
I'm just looking forward for a better life and just have fun.
Daddy's got a puppy.
Marone says Military Amigos is close to officially getting its nonprofit designation, and he'll be able to pair dogs with vets for free by accepting donations and doing the training himself in-house. Now, Weese says he's been waiting to get a dog for years, and meeting Military Amigos was, for him, a blessing. Then some are calling electronic cigarettes candy-flavored poisons. Tonight, what's being done to make sure our kids don't get hooked.
On the air, you're watching the next generation of news. The 23 News Update at 10 starts now.
Sheriff Myers also said Deputy James Abadi followed protocol and, quote, did everything right in last night's shooting on Rockford's far west side. Meanwhile, one of the suspects from this incident is still on the loose. Deputies are looking for 23-year-old Matt Lawrence. Investigators say he's one of the men who jumped out of the back seat of an SUV and ran from police. Well, new numbers show the jobless rate is falling in Rockford. The unemployment office says it's down almost 1% from last February. The next one starts April 30th and runs through June 18th. To apply, go to WIFR.com for a link. Apps on our phone are the best way to play games, check sports scores, or the weather. And one group making its debut in Rockford is looking to create some apps for city innovations.